Welcome to Season 4 of The Biz Show, sponsored by InvestQuire. Discover what's next with this insightful podcast. And now, your hosts, Barry and Lisa. Hey, Barry, how's it going?
Barry is a disease, I tell you that. It's like scurvy. Lisa.
Yeah, what is Lisa is just a band, then cult jam band.
Not to me. Lisa is you.
That's right. Happy weekend, everybody.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Biz Show, huh?
Yeah, welcome back. We are on Season 4, Episode 9.
It's moving fast, isn't it?
Yeah, we're already in March. Tomorrow is March 1st to us here in California.
Well, you know, it's March 1st over here on the East Coast side, too.
Yeah, I have a friend in Tokyo, and I'm like, what day is it over there? And he's a day ahead of us because of the time zone difference. Yeah, so wherever you guys are from, listening from, hopefully you have a wonderful day. But we're going to talk about like off-the-cuff questions, Q&A today, right?
Yeah. So you know, this is our 4th season, and so this is a first for us, right? We're actually gotten and accumulated some questions along the way. So today we're going to answer those questions for you. So Lisa's got some questions. She'll give you some answers. I've got some questions. I'll give you some answers. And we also have some questions about the business and stuff like that. So we are here to answer your questions today. So today, yeah, it should be. I'm looking forward to it. It should be really fun. So today we're not going to really educate you on any business things, but we might through some of the questions that we do. But it's Q&A day.
Exactly. What show was that where they would have a caller call in and then they would ask a question and the host would answer it? Those days when we had the hard lines of phone lines. Yeah.
Well, as we get rolling and as here we get more viewers coming in and stuff like that, we can do some live episodes with viewers asking us live questions and we can answer them live too. I'm looking forward to that day.
Yeah. So speaking of viewers, what is our viewer count? Do you have an idea of where we are now?
Well, total for everything, we're about 42,000. Here on YouTube, we're nothing. I think we got 10 subscribers, right?
Oh man, nobody knows we're on YouTube.
Nobody knows we're on YouTube yet. So we just got to keep going and chug along here and work with the people that we have to them to subscribe and like our content and stuff like that. That's really going to help the algorithm understand, hey, people like this and start sending it out to more people. And so we really ask you to subscribe and like each of our episodes. We really appreciate that. And other people will appreciate that as we grow.
Yeah. And we could probably up our marketing a little bit on that front. And I know that we mention it to a lot of people when we're talking to them, but we could maybe do more expansive marketing. So that's our goal.
Yeah, absolutely. So listen, ladies first. So I'm going to ask you viewer questions, Lisa, okay? And I got 5 for you. There's 5 for me. And so we'll just dive in, right?
Sure.
So here's the first question. First question is from David L. of Phoenix, Arizona. He's asking, as a startup founder, should I invest in owning an office or operational space early or keep everything flexible while growing?
Well, we have talked about scaling on a few of our episodes. So that is the key word, is to scale steady and slow, not to over complicate your financial budget. You want to make sure that you're working out the kinks of your company before you're putting all of your dollars into this huge office space. Unless you have the funds to do so, I would recommend strongly to scale slowly. And maybe that means, purchasing or even renting an office space later down the road. Once you get the feedback from your first 10 customers, I think our last episode was all about that. Who are your first 10 customers? And once you get that rolling and you start feeling, the comfortability with your your profits and your business and your systems, then that would be the time, maybe once you start seeing numbers coming in and that slow and steady business, to actually scale and purchase a building. So I would not recommend that, no.
I would agree, Lisa. And I'll say this, I mean, this is your question. I'm just going to add a little bit to the end of it, right? That capital should support growth, not fixed assets,
That's right. Yes.
right? All right. Well, second question for you, Lisa, is from Rachel P. out of Tampa, Florida. All right. We got them all over the place, by the way. So we're all over the U.S. What financial discipline should founders build early so they don't run into cash surprises as they grow?
Oh my gosh. So we've talked about knowing your numbers, as Barry likes to put it. So that's part of your business plan, really. I mean, is having your budget, your numbers, knowing like where you're spending your dollars, and so that you are really anticipating um, what you have to pay for in order to stay in operation. So sometimes we do have surprises. Sometimes we may have something going on in the economy or the market, and there could be a fluctuation in your overall dollars of what you're receiving from your business. So you want to have a cushion, right? So we always talk about in real estate that when you're getting approved for a loan or for financing, the lender and the underwriter is going to look at your assets and what you have in the bank as liquid, a cushion, so to speak. So if you have like 3 months of a cushion or even 1 year of a cushion in your bank account, that is great to fall back on in case you do have some slow months, or like I said, some market changes that would affect your numbers. So know your numbers, know your budget, and then definitely have a cushion in the bank. And what I don't know what you would recommend, Barry, but I would say minimum of 3 months.
Well, it's your question, right? So, well, I just say
Yeah.
this, Rachel, it's all about cash flow, right? So, and that's what you just said in a nutshell, right?
Yes.
So the next
Great.
question is from Brandon S. out of Nashville, Tennessee. I wonder if he's a musician.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to Nashville in May, so I'm looking forward to
Oh, you might have to look
visiting.
Brandon up. I don't know. It's just Brandon S. I don't know his is it. But here's his question: how much does the physical workspace matter in a startup when resources are tight? And I think what he's saying is, do I need a nice space or a crappy space?
Yeah. So, COVID brought about everybody working remotely from home. So I do that in my real estate career and in business. We do work from home a lot, and then we're out in the field a lot. So I don't think you need to have a brick and mortar. And there we go again into the knowing your numbers and when it's the right time to scale and get a physical location. So if you're a startup and you're in the beginning phases, I would recommend not having to worry about a physical location unless you have the type of business that requires that. And as long as you, can afford it and it fits into your budget, and having a physical location, you know, again, scale into that glamorous, hot spot on the corner of a really busy street, maybe later down the road. But in the beginning, just get a location. I remember when we had our door and window company, we needed a location because we needed a facility to do our door and window work at. And we just got this tiny little warehouse in Benicia, California. And then when we had more cash flow coming in, we got a bigger space and it was more visible to the main busy street traffic. And we had our big sign up on the wall, and so people could see where our company was, and it was just a great feeling to have that big physical location space. But again, we're talking about scaling into that and not over spending
Right.
when you're not ready.
It does cost money, right? And so here's a question from me to you, Lisa, on this is as a former CFO, how much of your revenue, no, let me rephrase it. How much of your net profit should you spend on your lease or rent, right? 25%, 50%, probably not 50. I don't know. You tell me.
I would say anywhere between 25 and like 30% would be a safe, conservative amount to spend. You definitely don't want to spend 50%. So I would say, yeah, 25% would be my number.
All right, very good. Well, there you go, Brandon. So no more than 25% of your net profit should you spend. So if you're only making $1,000 a month net profit, that means you only got $250 a month to spend.
Yeah, and also a rule of thumb is like having three times that amount of income coming in, whatever the rent is. So, if you have $3,000 monthly rent, you want to, or physical space budget for that, you want to make sure you're making at least 9,000 a month in cash flow.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense, definitely. So the next question here, number 4, is from Emily G, and she's from Raleigh, North Carolina. And she's asking, when is the right time for a startup to bring experienced leadership instead of continuing to lean on the founding team?
Oh my gosh. Well, that's such a catch-22 question because a lot of our business owners don't like to hire because they are feeling like they need to control everything and they want to run the business themselves and wear all of the hats that we talk about and do everything. So there's a fine line between like, needing to do it and being ready to do it and then also being unwilling to do it. So that's a whole nother podcast show. But we would recommend that you hire leadership when you have the budget to do so. So again, we're not wanting to incur unnecessary expenses until you are ready. So I would say that when you're seeing your cash flow and your profits, dramatically increasing over the period of time, then you might need to start leveraging your business and start hiring leadership or employees to help you run the business smoothly and help you leverage so that you can actually work as a leader of the company on getting new business and improving your systems or like hiring some good talent to help you get the next tier of your business, the next level.
I completely agree with that. And I wish I would have got that question. I wish that question came into me, right? Because, yeah, but nonetheless, good question, good answer.
I would
So,
say if you talk about time period, I would say anywhere between 2 and 5 years, I would think, after having the consistency of your business, you'd be ready to start scaling and hiring a leadership position.
yeah, that I mean that makes sense. For me, I would have probably just said, "Hey, look, when you're overburdened and you're working just 20 hours a day and you can't handle it anymore, that might be a time to evaluate. Although, if you don't have the capital for it or you don't have the revenue for it, then you can't do it. You're going to have to just, be married to the business a little longer."
Yeah, exactly. And that's when you have to wear all those hats in the beginning. You're your CFO, your CEO, and COO. You're all of those things,
And the
and
janitor.
yeah, and the janitor.
Yeah. Okay, last question for you, Lisa, and it's from Jason W. from Scottsdale, Arizona. Founders often ask about your working dynamic with me. Um, they're asking if we're married, if we've dated. How does our partnership stay effective in a startup style environment? I don't know if we're a startup style environment, but how do we stay effective? And how is our dynamic in our relationship? First of all, are we married?
We are not married. Barry is married to a lady named Tammy. I am unmarried.
Mhm.
So we are not married to each other, but sometimes in business, you are married to your business partner because you work so many hours of the day with your partner at work and maybe more than time than you spend with your partner in life. And so that is a word that could be used in our business arrangement. We are married to each other at work. But it's really important to not mix business with pleasure because there is a professional environment going on, and you don't want to complicate it with. I mean, there's sexual harassment laws and all of that. So you don't want to complicate it with, mixing business with pleasure. A lot of people do meet their loved one or their future life partner at work, and so I think that is, great. But Barry and I are not married. We've never dated.
No. Well,
Um,
I've been married the whole time I've known you.
Yeah, exactly. We've been really great friends, and I think that really does play a huge factor in being successful, working together because we respect each other in friendship. And so we would never want to, ruin that friendship and cut ties. Or so when it does come to like a friction or having to restructure, things that we're doing, we're able to like really want to accomplish, keeping the business thriving and changing our systems to improve things because of the friendship. So I think we're lucky in that aspect.
I think we are. And we just have a great relationship, a great friendship. We can tease each other. We know when we're joking. We know when we're not. We can be serious when we need to be serious. And you help me out doing things. I help you out doing things. It's kind of like being married. You're right. But, I guess I can call you my work wife and you can call me your work husband.
There you go. Yeah. Entanglements, although we could joke around like Barry said, and it's kind of fun being able to have that type of a relationship with somebody that you work with. And I mean how often do we say, gosh, we hate our boss or we hate our employee, and it makes our job just a struggle because we're not enjoying who we're working with. But I think we're just lucky because we do.
We are. And you're only half my boss and I'm only half your boss, right? Because we're 50-50 partners here. All right. Well,
That's
there you go. That answers that question.
Yeah, so now we're going to ask Barry some questions from folks all over the world. And the first one we have is from Alex in Austin, Texas. Okay, Alex wants to know, as a founder, transitioning from a startup mode to early growth, how do I know when I need to stop doing everything myself and start building that leadership structure?
Good question. Actually, that's a very good question. And we've talked about this so many times throughout all of our seasons on this, right? So, but the bottom line is this. You need to start thinking about that when you become the bottleneck, right? When you're the bottleneck and business can't function without you in the middle of it, that's when you really need to start hiring or building up your leadership team so they can start taking some of those things off your plate, right? So you, at a certain point, you want to take yourself not out of, but at least step back a little bit from the daily operations and let your leadership team kind of take over and take that stuff so that you can scale the business. That's how you're going to scale the business, right? You can't scale a business by yourself.
Right. Exactly. Okay, so that was a really good, thorough answer for Alex. Now we have Olivia. Olivia, oh, she's in my neck of the woods, Rancho Santa Margarita, Orange County,
I know
in
who
the
this
US.
is. She used to work for me.
Oh, you're kidding. Oh my
No.
gosh. Oh, well, let's see what she's got for us. She's
Yeah.
got, okay, Barry, from your experience in turnarounds and M&A, what early warning signs should a startup watch to avoid operational distress? Ooh, this is a good one. I like it.
She's a smart cookie too, right? She worked for me and then she left and she went to San Luis Obispo and she's got a 4-year college degree coming out of there. Um, she's a very, very smart girl. I would love to hire her in our business at some point and stuff like that. So really, it boils down to not just one thing, but the biggest thing that you need to look out for is declining margins, right? As your margins are starting to decline, there's a rise in the churn, reactive decision making that you have to make and stuff like that. That's the things that you really got to. There's your signals right there, right?
Okay.
This is now you're in distress, right? If you got declining margins, the churn of customers is going too much, and you're constantly reacting or being reactive to decision making, then you've got urgent problems you need to solve.
Yeah, exactly.
So there you go,
Um,
Olivia.
there you go. All right, we got John Denver. No,
John
we have
Denver.
Jordan. I love John Denver.
I like
We
John
got
Denver.
Jordan, Denver, Colorado, where my daughter used to live. Okay, so Jordan in Denver, Colorado wants to know, why did you partner with Lisa? Why did you partner with Lisa Manifold? What made you decide that she is the right business partner for you? And then the last part of that question is, do partnerships really work?
Yeah. So the reason I partnered with you is number one, trust. Number two, you're very smart. Number three, you're tenacious, right? So there's a lot of things that are just, they all fit into place. And you balance me out where the things that I don't have or whatever the case might be, like you're awesome in sales and marketing and stuff like that. I'm not. I'm an operational type of guy, right? You're more of the front customer facing type of person and stuff like that. So the fit just seemed to be really well. And the trust factor, I've known you for 20, 25 odd years, right? And we've done things in the past together and stuff like that. So complete trust.
Well, thank you. It's always nice to hear that out loud. But
Shh. All right, let's cut that out, huh?
And the reason why it works is because what Barry said is like where his weaknesses are my strengths, where my weaknesses are, he has those strengths. So it's really important to do one of those Myers-Briggs tests or DISC tests when you're hiring or thinking about a partnership, just to make sure that you're not going to butt heads the whole time and that you do have those gaps filled in with your partner, and that makes that makes the partnership work.
I like that, and I used to use this in the past. I haven't used it in a while. I forget exactly what it is. It's like the Meyer-Briggs, and the disc, but it's 16 something. Uh, I can't remember, 16 something. It's free. You can go out there and do it. And then I used to have all my employees go because it helps me as a manager understand that employee, what motivates them, what makes them tick and stuff like that. And then I can adapt my management style, leadership style for them that works for them.
Yeah. That really makes you a good leader, Barry, because you do need to adapt how you are speaking to the people on your team, knowing how they operate. And that will make your leadership so much more effective. So that's really what makes a partnership work, is being a good leader and knowing when to have to adapt.
And here we have in this relationship between you and I, we got two leaders, right?
Yeah,
Lisa, you've been your own business or in business for 20 some odd years. And, I've been the CEO of large companies and executive management and stuff like that. So we both are powerful people in a sense of management leadership, but we also know when to lead and when to let the other person lead. And it's easy for us, I think, at least for me on my side, because you have, the broker and the real estate and all that stuff, where I have the M&A and the management and stuff like that. So that's where I take the lead in the things I know, and let you take the lead in the things you know.
yeah, and it reduces the amount of worry because we know that all bases are covered, right? So
I used to
we're
work for
really
that company
all bases covered.
as an IT
Oh,
company
oh my gosh, how funny!
after
I
GE
did
and
not know
Raven. Yeah.
that was the name of it. Oh, how
Yeah.
cool!
All right. What's the
Well, and
next?
your last name, Best Pitch. That should be a company that you work with.
There you go.
Best Pitch.
Uh,
Okay, we have Marcus in Atlanta, Georgia. He says, as a startup, how do I handle underperforming early hires when I'm worried about morale and culture? How do you
yeah.
handle that?
We've discussed this so many times, right? And you and I have recently had this conversation about something just, a few days and a few weeks back, right? So if you've got somebody who is underperforming, well, shame on you, number one, right? And I'm going to say that this way, did you give them the training they need to do their job? Did you give them the resources that they need to do their job? If you have given them that and they're still underperforming, then you need to coach and mentor them. And if that doesn't work, you need to get rid of them, right? So either you manage them out or you just let them go, whatever the case might be. Because that is going to create a problem with all of your other employees, because they see that too, right? They see those employees that are underperforming, and maybe it's a morale issue. It's going to create a morale issue because all of a sudden I'm doing things. Let's say I'm in sales and I'm closing 10, sales a week, and this guy's closing two. Why am I getting the
Yeah.
same amount of pay as this guy is getting, right? When this guy, that's a guy, gal, whatever, right? I'm just using that as a placeholder. But why should I not get paid more because I'm doing, 5 times more work than this person?
Yes, it can
Or
affect the team board.
yeah, definitely. So I say make sure when you bring somebody on board, you should constantly be monitoring them, coaching and mentoring them, making sure that they're trained properly.
Yeah, and doing those employee reviews with them, right, to discuss the areas of that they could improve on, and also give them a pat on the back when they are doing well. So just really checking in with your staff and with your team is really important along the way. So I
Yeah,
know they usually every quarter is a good amount of time to do that, do those reviews, not just annually,
right,
right?
right. All right, so what do we got? One, two more, one more?
Oh, one more. So Nicole in Seattle, which is where I am right now in Seattle,
Oh,
Washington.
say hi, Kanal.
Hi to Nicole R. Nicole R wants to know, how can a business create structure and discipline early without killing innovation or agility? Good question.
Okay, let's start on the foundation things, right? Let's start on simple process, right? Basic, simple process. Just put a few simple processes in place. You and I just had a podcast just a couple back about keeping things simple, right?
Yeah.
Don't overcomplicate stuff and things like that, right? If you're building that business structure, take baby steps. Why? Because a lot of times you're going to implement it, it's not going to work. Fine, pull it out, put something else in its place. But if you take baby steps, you can do it real easy, right? Boom, 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 boom. Versus if you put this big old complicated things in place and it takes your employees 3 weeks, 4 weeks to learn it and figure it out. Oh, okay, that don't work. Let's get rid of it. Now you bring in another one. They got to do it. They're not going to be happy about that,
Yeah.
right? So start small, but make sure you have clear roles and decision paths and stuff like that can put all that stuff in place. But start small, simple. Keep it simple. I won't say the last word because nobody listening to us is that.
Well, it's important to do the baby steps, and it's actually really rewarding to watch the business evolve and grow and really become innovative. So, doing those steps are necessary and definitely required in order to be successful. So,
Yeah,
really good answer. Yeah, so that wraps up your 5 questions, my 5 questions, and then we had some people that asked questions of
about the
us.
business. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I'll take the first one, give it to
okay,
you.
cool.
I'm going to ask you, and then you can ask me the second one. So Chris D from Miami, Florida, is asking, as a startup, how should we think about building our company from day one if we want to raise capital and sell the business in the future?
How should we think
Probably
about
one of my
building
questions, but yeah.
from day one? Okay, well, scaling for sure. We want to make sure that we are not overspending and that we have good EBITDA numbers and we have good gross revenue numbers. So, if we're going to think about selling, we have to, as a business broker, look at numbers for at least a 3-year period of time to make sure that the numbers are consistent and that we're able to prove the value of a company. And so the important factor here is to know your numbers and make sure that you have good numbers that are consistent or growing. Of course, we'd love the numbers to be increasing because that makes your business more sellable. And also, it would intrigue capital partners to want to invest in your company because they're seeing that you have stability. And as we all know, stability is key in success and having a company thrive and be have longevity. So that's the only way you're going to get interest from capital partners is to show those numbers. So
Yeah, or if you want to
definitely,
sell a business, yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
Excellent.
we can have a business with no numbers. So we
Yeah,
have to make sure
and
numbers.
I would preface this. When you start a business, you should think about selling that business or raising capital from day one, right? Everything you
Okay.
do should have that in mind. Because as Lisa said, when we go
Yeah.
to sell your business, if you want to sell it, we're going to ask you for 3 years worth of financials, right?
That's right.
And so we're looking for consistencies there. We want to see growth, right? If you're starting this business in 3 years, we want to see some growth, right? That's going to really intrigue investors. If it's a decline and decreasing margins and stuff like that, no investor is going to touch you.
Exactly. I don't know why I'm using this as an analogy, but one of my mentors in my business said, operate in life, in whatever you're doing, whether it's personal business or what have you, as if you're somebody's speaking about you at your, this is morbid, but at your funeral, like your eulogy. So I mean, it's really important to kind of have that mindset with your business too. Like, what if you were like not to do your business anymore and somebody was going to take it over or buy it from you or what have you? Like, operate your business like somebody would want to have it, want to buy it, and want to operate it. So
Yeah,
make sure you're making those decisions that are going to be for the health of the business in the long run.
yeah, makes sense.
Okay, so Barry, I think it's Brittany from Boston, Massachusetts. Why did you create the Biz Show instead of just focusing on advisory work? Good
Well,
question.
for me, well, you and I both really. Why did we start the Biz Show? Well, we've been talking about marketing and stuff like that, but also I have post-secondary teaching credentials, and I taught at colleges, business and computer science, and I've always wanted to educate and coach and mentor, and this is an avenue for that. It's also, marketing for us as well. That was one of the things we talked about. But for the most part, for me, it's really just about education, right? We've worked with a lot of founders and a lot of executive management, and we've noticed a lot of gaps in their knowledge of what they had. So as you and I sat down and talked about it, we're like, we can help with the Biz Show fill in those gaps, right? That is not necessarily taking our time over and over and over and over again. We can just point them to a podcast. Listen, go watch that.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, we both do love to coach and mentor. So this gives us the ability to have some fun while we're working and pay it forward, basically, like Barry said.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Well, this next one is for you, Lisa. It's from Louise at Chicago, Illinois. What do investors look for in early stage companies beyond revenue potential?
Oh, I think they're looking at the individual, like the leadership structure. They're looking at the person. Like, do they believe in the person that is running the company, and do they trust them? I know that you mentioned trust when it came to our business partnership, but really, I think an investor is going to look at that trust factor and who they are, where they've come from, maybe the history of, how did they get here and why did they start the company? So people do dive deep into the leadership and who's behind the product or the business. And so I think that's a really important factor, aside from the capital and what the business is able to produce monetarily.
Yeah, I think clarity is the biggest thing, right? And as you said, trust. The one thing I will preface here is the fact that when investors are looking at businesses, they take a hard look at the leadership team, right? And they also take a look, if you don't have a leadership team, at you. And then if they're looking at you, they're going to scrutinize a lot of things about you, specifically your health, your knowledge, and stuff like that, because this whole business is built around you. So what happens if you leave, or God forbid something happens and you can't work the business anymore? Then that is a roadblock for them, right? So, hopefully you do have a leadership team and people can maneuver within that to do the jobs that they need to do.
Hmm. Yep. So Sarah from Los Angeles wants to know, what common mistake do startups make that hurts their future valuation before they even are able to realize it?
I just
What's
said
a
it.
common? Yeah.
It's founder dependency, right? That's basically one of the biggest things that happens. And you and I can attest to this is financial um, reporting, right? So they don't. How many businesses have we tried to sell that
Yeah.
they don't have any financials? We ask them for 3 years and they give us a bunch of receipts.
Exactly.
It's like,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, think about it. If you're going to like sell a car and you have all of your receipts of all your oil changes and when you put new tires and did your brake pads and stuff, then you're able to show the buyer that's buying the car that you have done such great maintenance on your car, and this is why I'm charging you top dollar for it.
Yep.
So it's the proof is in the pudding, I like to say.
Right, it is
Yeah.
definitely so. All right, last question from Michael at Charlotte, North Carolina. You've had two North Carolinas. You had one
Oh,
at
yeah.
Raleigh and one at Charlotte. What mindset should a startup founder adopt early if they want to build something sustainable, not just fast growing? Wow, man, some of these questions, some of these people, I'm surprised at some of the questions they asked.
Well, I mean, I'm a big believer in acting with confidence and not having fear of the what ifs, because that's always going to create limits for you. So the mindset should really be confidence. I think you really need to believe and be passionate about your company and what you're delivering to your target audience. So I wouldn't want you to go into a company and start up a business with the fear factor of like, what if somebody doesn't buy it? What if somebody doesn't like it? Because then you're not really believing in what you're producing, or you're not believing in yourself, quite frankly. So the mindset should really be limitless and confident, and have a passion behind what you're doing, because that passion really is going to lead people to you and draw the audience to want to know more and want to buy, the product or your service. So I think that yeah, your mindset should just be really solid, and you should have done your business plan, worked out some of the kinks in your systems, and know that you're putting your best foot forward. I don't know if you want to add to that, Barry, but that's my take.
I would, you did a great job there. I agree with you 100%. I would add to operate intentionally, right? Make sure that you build for durability, and make sure that, obviously you're asking, you could care less about speed and growing fast. So
Yeah.
be methodical and think things out and just do it intentionally. I think that's going to be the biggest thing, right? And sustainable growth really compounds value, right? So if you got a solid, sustainable growth month after year, and then we're going to go sell your business, or you're looking for investors, they're going to be hungry to jump in and work with you because they can see that growth. And perhaps they can bring something in to help accelerate that a little bit. But it's not about the acceleration, it's just about a sustained growth.
Yeah. And I think if you're thinking about it in terms of sustainable growth, then you're already having the right mindset.
Yes,
So,
exactly. People come
yeah.
in all the time and they think, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make $1 million next month. No, you're not.
Yeah.
You are not going to do that. There's one or two people in the entire world that might happen to, here and there, but those are unicorns, right? And 99.99999% of us are not unicorns.
Right. So be realistic, be intentional, have
Yes.
confidence and passion with your business.
Yeah.
Every, every
Perfect.
day you wake up.
That's it. I like this, Lisa. We're going to have to do the maybe I'll try to get some more questions, and maybe we can do these like once a month or once a quarter or something like that.
Yeah, we could even approach our topics that we're delivering to the audience in more of a question format, perhaps, and that will
Yeah.
make it more enjoyable as the listeners are learning.
Yeah. Perfect.
I like
Well,
it. So you guys have a fantastic day. Go make some money,
it's a wrap.
and we will see you next week.
All right, guys. Have a good one. Bye.
Thank you all for listening to the Biz Show podcast. Subscribe to stay updated and follow Barry and Lisa on Facebook at The Biz Show. Share your comments or suggest business topics that you'd like to hear. Thank you all for listening. Bye.